All right. So oh, let me kick the little got it button. Okay. So what I was very inspired by the message that Bishop talked about on Sunday when he was talking about relevancy. I thought that that was something that was very key. And I just kind of want to spin off of that. I want to go really quickly towards something that he was talking about just being relevant. And so he made a statement that I thought was so important. And it was in regards to, not worrying about what other people are doing and being more focused on what's relevant for yourself. And he made a statement, and I want to bring that forward to kind of the topic for tonight is, what are you a disciple of? All right. I want you to think about that. What are you a disciple of? I know that we get up every day and some of us have little people that we're caring for or whatever, or maybe a spouse, or, maybe you're a caretaker for somebody in your home, whatever the case may be. Right. And sometimes we might begin to look at some of the tasks that we do, parenting wise or caretaker wise, as that being our relevancy, because maybe at this point in our lives, we haven't figured out exactly what direction that we're supposed to be walking in. We're surviving, right? And I heard a statement out of a book a long time ago. Actually, Bishop Ivy Hilliard said this. He said, "The devil works overtime to keep you in survival mode." And in that space, where the reason why that's important is because if you're not going out to do what you're called to do and what your talent is walking in, then you're not only not blessing yourself, but then you're also not blessing the kingdom. You don't have a relevancy for why you're here. I know you're existing, right? But we're not here to just exist. We're actually here to bless and advance the kingdom. And so when Bishop was talking in Mark 8:34, and I just want to go there really quickly. Mark 8:34. I guess I should have already had that on there, right? So Mark 8:34. Oh, wow, I had the bookmark there. Great. Okay, so and it said, "And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, Whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." And I think that the key phrases in there is taking up your cross and following him and denying yourself. And I think that the denying of yourself a lot of times is where our comfort zone is. Right? Our comfort zone has a space that just like what it is, it's our comfortable area. This is where we're looking to go, but it might not be what's relevant. It might not be a space to where you're denying what you're used to, right? And that you're walking and as I said, let him deny himself and take up what your particular cross, what your uncomfortable zone is, and following him. And I always like to say that your comfort zone is your broke zone, right? And it's not only broke from a financial perspective, but it's also from an emotional and just a mental perspective. Because if you're doing what you don't want to do, you don't like it. Okay, you don't like it, right? And it kind of breaks you. If you're I'm going to maybe people throw their camera on. Raise your hand right now if you all day long today are operating inside of something that you don't want to do, but you're doing it because this is what you just got to do in order to pay these bills. Raise your hand. Even if you're not on camera, throw it up in the chat. Say, you know what? That's where I'm at. And I want to say, anybody who going to tell the truth today? Erica, I see you telling the truth. Who are Dawn, First Lady, Gwen, Dawn, there you go, Dawn. You doing okay? All right. Bishop, are you on there? Okay, Bishop, we know you're doing what you're supposed to do. All right. Hey, hold on, Bakari. Come on. Yes or no, sir? Hand up or down, sir? Zalika, hand up or down? Okay. So here's the thing. Okay. All right. So here's the thing. You might be operating throughout the day in things that you don't want to do. And so let me dial back real quick. Because see, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you how I figured out that I was a little bit important on this planet, right? So last year, I came into a space where I was just like, you know what? I'm necessary. Because what I do on a daily basis, with coaching other people or whatever, or helping people, weekly or whatever, it's necessary. And so to help advance the kingdom, right? That's me. That's what Elam chose, right? Okay, so here's the thing. So I figured this out last Monday, right? I woke up to like a whole bunch of text messages. And I woke up to somebody calling me at 6:30 in the morning. And they said, Elam, I'm like, hello. And they're like, hey, I got to get your opinion on what happened last night. Cause obviously the Oscars and the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. Right. So they were like, what is your opinion? I'm like, huh? Cause I don't watch them shows. Right. So I was like, huh, what happened? So they was like, let me send you to YouTube. So I looked at it and it was just like, I want to know, what is your take on what happened? So I gave it. In the middle of me giving it, I got another phone call. By the time I got to the second phone call, I looked at my text messages and I had like 5 text messages from people that don't even know each other asking me, hey, what are your thoughts about what happened? Right. And so what I realized at that moment, I was like, people are asking me my opinion. That must mean that they respect my opinion. That must mean that I must be doing something out here that make people say, hey, you're relevant over here. What are your thoughts? Right. I'm not doing it for people to come back and say, I just do it because this is what I'm doing, but I became relevant. Right. And so my point in that space is that operating in just what I was doing, I was showing my relevancy to the kingdom. Let's take this a step further. Yesterday, I was actually speaking with who was a new client, and they were speaking regarding she was a believer and he was a Hebrew Israelite. Okay. Now, this has been my 3rd or 4th couple that I've had this type of situation going on, and they're trying to figure out whether they need to continue forward. Right. So my point is, inside of that space is that, I gave her some feedback. And so here's the thing. This person had actually gone to my website. Walk with me for a second. They went to my website. They had already paid me. I had never talked to them. They went in there, paid. It came through on my PayPal. I'm like, who is this? So when I called her, I'm talking to her. I'm just like, hey, and then we started walking down this space. And I was just like, listen, I could take your money, but based upon what I'm seeing, you and I are both believers, because she was a believer and her dude was a Hebrew Israelite. And I was just like, based upon what I'm seeing, let's just go to the baseline of what it talks about in the Bible about being evenly yoked. And she was like, yeah, I know. And I was just like, so at the end of the day, we're only going to be able to go but so far in this conversation, because at some point, based upon what it says scripturally, you're probably not going to work because you're not evenly yoked. Long story short, as the conversation went on, she said she was going to go think about something. And I actually ended up returning her money to her. Okay. Because I said, I could take your money, but I don't want to do that because I don't feel like that what you're walking inside of right now is something that's going to be, beneficial down the road. So I didn't see the point of us doing that. And so where am I going with that? Because I recognize that not only that I'm relevant, but I have value, right? And I'm not going to spend my time in a space that most likely it's not going to be beneficial, right? And this is for this particular person. But I want you to go really quickly to 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. All right, go to 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9, because what I want to do is that, as Bishop is speaking, and I'm not speaking for him, I'm saying that as one of the individuals, a part of the congregation. Here's the thing. We have some really, really great people that are operating inside of Greater Works right now. And as we continue to move forward, as we continue to grow, I think that what's very important here is that we recognize what is our relevancy, right? Why are we here? Right. So we just had a little exercise and a couple of people threw their hands up of just saying, OK, you know what, I might not be walking in what I want to walk in. And so I want to give you just some pieces of encouragement along the way of just understanding of how we need to come out of our, what we feel like is our comfort zone and kind of move forward. Right. So 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. OK, it says, the Lord is not slow to fulfill his promise, as some count slowness, but is patient. Excuse me, let's do this again. The Lord is not slow to fulfill his promise, as some count slowness, but is patient toward you, not wishing that any should perish, but that all should reach repentance. Now, what does that mean? All right. If we really think about it, it's all happening in divine order. Even though we might think that it's slowly coming, even though that we might have a thought of where we want to be in, right? It might not be moving at the spaces you want to, but it's all in his order, right? He doesn't want us to fail. That's why that second part, for those that might want to walk in a different space and you're just not there yet, it says, not wishing that any should perish. So what does that say to me? That says that if I go into my uncomfortable area, if I should happen to fail, I got somebody who's got my back. right? Because God does not want me to fail. And he's placed this talent inside of me for me to move forward. I might trip and fall. But he doesn't want me to perish, right? And he's got my back and he's going to move forward in that space. And so even though it might be taking some time, you can still get there. Let's go on over to Isaiah 50. Okay, so go to Isaiah 50, verse 10 through 11. All right. Isaiah 50, verse 10 through 11. All right. So, I got my stuff over here and I'm talking to you over here. All right. Isaiah 50, verse 10 through 11. Where is that? Right here. All right. I should have had that up, but somebody, if somebody's got it, they can go ahead and read it. But you know how it is with this electronic stuff. Sometimes you can't get the stuff fast enough. So does anybody have Isaiah 50, verse 10 through 11? Anybody have that already? The electronic is not moving the way I want it to. So does anybody have that already? Let's see who got their Bibles with them today. Y'all gonna make me do it. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 50 to 11. All right, here we go. Isaiah 50, verse 10 through 11. All right. So it says, who is among you that feareth the Lord, that obeyeth the voice of his servant, that walketh in darkness and hath no light? Let him trust in the name of the Lord and stay upon his God. Behold, all ye that kindle a fire, that compass yourselves about with sparks, walk in the light of your fire, and in the sparks that ye have kindled. This shall ye have of mine hand, ye shall lie down in sorrow. All right. And so in that space, I think the biggest piece that I just want to throw out there, walk in the light of your fire, right? Walk in the light of your fire, even though you might be feeling some things around you, right? And some things might be a little difficult, still continue to walk in your light, in your direction, in your relevancy, because remember, God does not want you to, he doesn't want you to perish, right? And so he's trying to move you. So some of that fire that might be around you, right, still continue to walk in your light because he's got a direction for you to go in, right? All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over here to Hebrews 12:1. All right. I'm almost done. All right. I'm going to do the Bishop. I got 15 more minutes. All right. I'm about to close. All right. So walk in Hebrews 12:1. All right. Let's go over there. Hebrews 12:1. I got that one up already. All right. So it says, therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. What does that say? We can go another 30, 40 minutes on that one. What you got hanging on you, right? What you got around you, right? It's there for a reason. But guess what? Let us lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. So you got God in the first passage that we were talking about. He's got your back, and we're going to walk in some uncomfortable. You got fire around you, and you're still going to walk in your light. You got weights that are sitting around you, but that endurance is really already in you. You just have to believe that and walk forward. Okay, somebody doesn't believe enough, so let's just go to the last one. That's fine. All right, we're going to go to Luke chapter 1, verse 37. All right, Luke 1, verse 37. Got that one up already. All right, real simple, right? For nothing will be impossible with God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. For nothing will be impossible with God. That right there is sharing with you that whatever that you happen to be walking in, that you can still proceed forward, because nothing is impossible for God. So the level of uncomfortability that you might have, the fear that you might have, the fire that might be around you, it quite possibly is for a reason, right? Maybe that rejection that you got in the past of what you thought about was for a reason, because remember, rejection can be for direction. Okay, I want to say that again. If you've had some rejection in the past, it's okay, because rejection can be for direction, because that fire that you have around you, you have a light that's inside of you, you have a talent that's inside of you, that and you have an opportunity of still proceeding forward. So I like to give homework. Okay, so we're gonna have a little homework assignment for Greater Works Tabernacle tonight. All right, you got homework tonight, y'all. All right, because I want you to ask yourself, what is your relevancy to the kingdom? All right, what's your relevant? Don't tell me about you being a parent. Don't tell me about you being a spouse. Don't tell me about that 9 to 5 that you know that you're just doing just to survive in. Don't tell me about that. Okay. What is your relevancy to the kingdom? What are you a disciple of, as Bishop was speaking towards? What are you a disciple of? What's your relevancy? So this is what I want you to do. We're going to flood our bishop's inbox real quick. We're going to flood it for 2 reasons. All right. And, Cherie, if you want to put Bishop's email in the chat real quick, because I'm going to just upset him. We just going to flood him. You can't put it in the chat? Bishop, you don't know his email? Okay, we'll let Bishop give his email at the end. All right. So I want us to share with our bishop what our relevancy is, because he stood before us and was speaking towards us in this direction. So I want to give this back to him, because perhaps maybe we don't have one. Maybe we haven't been walking in the direction of it. Maybe we need some prayer in this direction, right? So I want to ask you to just send to our bishop, what is your relevancy to the kingdom? What do you think that you're contributing? All right. And so, and because here's the thing, perhaps there's some prayer that's needed in here. Perhaps the fire that's around you, you don't feel like feeling it anymore, but you don't know what that direction is. So we are going to pray for you, right? We're going to walk with you in that direction. All right. Because you got it in you. It just hasn't been pulled out of you yet. Right. So I want us to, and Bishop, if you just want to drop Bishop, you drop yours in the chat, because Cherie, your own daughter, doesn't know what your email is. So it's fine. So it's so I think it's like Chancey King Sr. at Gmail. I think that's what it is. Bishop?
I just text him. I don't email
him. But I want us to, really just not only just walk and in the direction and the tutelage that Bishop is giving us, but I also want us to begin to build what our relevancy is. And if it's not there, we're going to come together. We're going to pray for you. And at any given point, whether it's Bishop or any one of us, we're going to be like, hey, how your relevancy going? All right. How's your direction going? And if you don't have it, then we're going to be able to pull together and pray for you and move you in that direction, because you have a calling, and some of that fire that's around you is because it's supposed to give you direction. And we're just going to all walk together to go in that space. So I actually went over tonight. Okay. All right. So that's the conclusion of what I have. I hope it inspired you and gave you some level of moving forward. And Cherie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
I had an image of when you were saying, basically just talking about all of this. I don't know the exact name of the track event, but when it's 2 people and one person is going to hand off that the thing to the other person to run. So it's one person running
relay.
Yeah. So I had the image of like you're running and God is handing you what you need. Like he's always behind you, handing you what you need, and you take off. Like you're not by yourself in the race. You have somebody else there. So that imagery was in my head.
We can go another 30 minutes on that right there. You got to reach back. Y'all got to reach back. But you got to be what? You got to be in stride, right? You got to be working on your relevancy. Come on, y'all want to go all night tonight? Okay. Go ahead, keep going. I'm sorry.
Look, no, it was perfect. Yeah. So he didn't put his email in there. He don't want them emailing him. I'm gonna put your email in there in the chat. So just a few pointers for people who like to take notes. Your comfort zone is your broke zone. He doesn't want us to fail or perish. It may be uncomfortable, but it is relevant to his plan. That was my little note. Walk in your light. Nothing is impossible with God. So yeah, thank you, Elam. And yeah, for those, you can text it to him since we don't have the email yet. Text it to him, email him your answer. Elam's going to ask if y'all did your homework.
Oh, he said it's Chancey King at msn.com. So let me drop it in chat, because I want us to blow. We're going to blow Bishop's email up.
Yeah, all right. So he's going to put it in there. Any prayer requests, you can pop it in the chat while we wait for this email to pop up. There we go. Chancey King at msn.com. Do your homework. Elam's going to follow up with you. So think deep about that question. So thank you all for coming. We'll keep you all in our prayers. And yeah, we'll see you next Wednesday.
And if you don't do your homework, I'm telling.
All right, have a good